All right, let's dive right into this explainer and look at the intense, high-stakes science of what actually makes relationships thrive or fail. We're going to break down over 30 years of clinical research to uncover the absolute blueprint for a successful partnership. And trust me, it's not what you see in the movies. We aren't talking about grand, dramatic romantic gestures in the pouring rain here. We're talking about the daily, microscopic habits that build a lifelong bond. Based on massive studies observing thousands of couples over decades, researchers discovered an absolute bombshell. They can predict whether a couple will stay together or get a divorce with over 90% accuracy. Think about that for a second. 90%. That kind of predictability is almost unheard of in psychology. It means relationships aren't just a mysterious lucky roll of the dice. There is a highly measurable science behind why love lasts and why it falls apart. But get this, it gets even wilder. They don't need to observe a couple for years or even months to figure this out. They can make this highly accurate prediction by watching a couple argue about an ongoing disagreement for just 15 minutes in a lab. Just 15 minutes to see if a relationship is built for the long haul. How couples speak to each other in those brief moments basically reveals the entire hidden architecture of their partnership. So, what separates the best from the rest? Well, it comes down to the golden ratio of relationship masters. The researchers divided couples into two groups, the masters, who stayed together happily, and the disasters, who either split up or stayed together unhappily. During a conflict, the masters maintain this magical 5-to-1 ratio. That means 5 positive interactions, like a warm smile, a gentle touch, or even a self-deprecating joke, for every 1 negative interaction. Disasters, on the other hand, they operate at slightly less than a 1-to-1 ratio, where the negativity eventually bankrupts the entire relationship. To help you level up your own partnership, we've distilled this incredible data into a dynamic 5-step relationship blueprint. We'll start by predicting your relationship's future, then cover Step 1, ask open questions, Step 2, cultivate deep appreciation, Step 3, connect through bids, Step 4, navigate perpetual conflict, and finally, Step 5, build shared meaning. Let's start with predicting your relationship's future. Masters versus disasters. To do this, we first have to really understand the fundamental difference between these two groups when it comes to the foundation of their connection. The absolute crucial point here is that before even attempting to deal with a heated conflict, masters lay down these 3 foundational ingredients to build an indestructible friendship. You see, friendship isn't just a nice bonus in a relationship, it is the bedrock. It dictates how you're going to handle disagreements, and it ultimately dictates the passion, romance, and resilience you have together. Without this foundation, everything else just crumbles under pressure. Which brings us right to Step 1. Ask open questions to begin building your love maps. This is our very first actionable step, and it's all about getting deeply curious about your partner's inner world. So, to build what researchers call a love map, you must intentionally seek out the people, values, and dreams that make up your partner's reality right now. It's like an internal roadmap of their psychological world. It means knowing who their worst enemy is at the office today or what their biggest underlying stressor is this week. It's the dimension of being truly known by the person you love. And the trick? You have to update that map continuously as you both grow and change over the years. How do you actually do that? Well, let's first look at what not to do. Disasters often rely on dead-end, closed statements. A question like, "Did the plumber come?" is just broadcasting for a quick status update. It's purely logistical, not emotional at all. And it definitely doesn't invite intimacy. Well, unless you're both incredibly passionate about plumbing. Relying on these kinds of questions turns you into roommates who are just managing a household together, rather than actual partners navigating life. The alternative, and this is a real game changer, is making 50% of your interactions open questions that invite a much deeper understanding of your partner. Try asking things like, "How are you feeling about your role at your job right now?" Or, "How would you like our life to be in the next 5 years?" This technique of actively asking open questions, the kind that can't possibly be answered with a simple yes or no, is the fundamental secret to maintaining an accurate, up-to-date love map. Now for Step 2, cultivate deep appreciation, which is all about fondness and admiration. This requires consciously changing your mental habits from constantly scanning the environment for your partner's mistakes to intentionally scanning for things to praise. This is incredibly powerful. You literally need to catch your partner doing something right. By expressing genuine gratitude for even the tiniest everyday things, like taking out the trash without being asked or patiently handling a tough situation with the kids, you actively foster shared meaning and deep respect. Creating this daily culture of appreciation moves those positive, loving thoughts out of your brain and directly out of your mouth. It builds up a massive reserve of fondness that you can draw on when times inevitably get tough. Step 3 is all about how you connect through bids, treating them like building the bank account. This focuses on those tiny, everyday, seemingly neutral moments where partners make bids for each other's emotional connection and attention. Imagine you're sitting on the couch reading a book, and your partner looks out the window and says, "Wow, look at that pretty boat." That right there, that is a bid. When your partner points out that pretty boat, enthusiastically turning toward them, acknowledging it, maybe saying, "Wow, that is beautiful. We should totally rent a boat someday," deposits essential points into your emotional bank account. Disasters, on the other hand, tend to ignore these bids or actively turn away, completely engrossed in their book or their phone. And over time, that kind of constant tiny rejection makes a partner visually crumple, and eventually they just stop bidding for connection altogether. Now, when these first 3 steps, love maps, appreciation, and turning toward bids, are really working, you unlock a state called positive sentiment override. This is huge. It means a slightly irritable comment from your partner won't trigger a massive fight because you have a protective buffer. You assume positive intent and give them the benefit of a doubt. But if you haven't done that foundational friendship work, you get stuck in negative sentiment override. You carry a defensive chip on your shoulder where even a sweet, simple request like, "Can you pass the salt?" suddenly feels like a manipulative attack on your character. Because let's face it, no matter how strong your friendship is, conflict is inevitable. Which brings us to step 4, navigate perpetual conflict and moving from gridlock to dialogue. Get ready for a serious reality check. A massive 69% of all marital conflicts are based on permanent personality differences and are literally never actually solved. No way, right? But it's true. Whether it's differing needs for neatness or opposing views on how to spend your weekends, when you pick a partner, you inherit a specific set of unresolvable problems for the next 30 or 40 years. The goal for these issues isn't to somehow fix them. It's to build a healthy, continuous dialogue around them so they don't end up destroying the relationship. When facing this kind of gridlock, disasters usually attack. They use what researchers call the 4 horsemen: criticism, defensiveness, contempt, which looks like eye-rolling or mocking, and, by the way, is this single best predictor of divorce, and stonewalling, where a partner completely shuts down and ignores the other. Masters approach conflict entirely differently. They use gentle, softened startups. They complain, sure, but they talk about their own feelings rather than attacking their partner's personality. And crucially, they actively accept influence from their partners, carefully listening to their perspective. And here is a vital biological secret to managing those tense moments. If you feel flooded during an argument and your heart rate hits 100 beats per minute, call a timeout. Seriously, at 100 beats per minute, your body starts dumping adrenaline into your system. You go straight into a primal fight or flight mode, and you are literally physiologically incapable of creative problem solving or empathy in that state. You absolutely have to step away, tell your partner you need 20 minutes, take a walk around the block, and soothe yourself first before trying to resolve anything. Finally, we reach our ultimate level. Step 5. Build shared meaning by honoring the dream. This is all about using conflict not to fight, but to uncover a deeper, unifying purpose together. When couples are gridlocked on those perpetual problems we talked about, it looks like 2 fists aggressively pushed against each other. But underneath every gridlocked argument about money or chores or the in-laws is a hidden life dream, a dream about freedom or power or what it really means to be a family. You can't ask someone to compromise their deepest life dream any more than you can ask to borrow their bones. The goal here is to make the relationship safe enough to open those fists and release the dream inside so both partners truly feel heard. You see, you and your partner are basically 2 distinct cultures coming together under one roof. You have different legacies, different upbringings, and different overarching missions in life. By intentionally creating a shared meaning system and deeply honoring each other's dreams, your worst, most frustrating conflicts actually transform into your greatest sources of intimacy and connection. So as you go out and implement this blueprint to master your own relationship, I want you to ask yourself, instead of trying to win, what is the life dream hidden inside your next argument? How can you act as a dream catcher for the person you love today? Thank you so much for exploring this relationship explainer with me. Now go out there and start building that blueprint.